Hey, welcome back, Math Gurus. In today's video, we're going to practice solving two-step equations, and we'll also graph our answers. So one-step inequalities are taught in 6th grade math, and then we move on to two-step in 7th grade. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So in this question, it's 2x plus 4 is greater or equal to 24. So what this means is x is a variable. We don't know what it is, and that's what we're going to solve for. This really means 2 times x. So we'll use the inverse operations to isolate our variable. And in this case, our variable is x, so we want to solve for x. We want to get this all by itself. So if we're using inverse operation, it just means we're doing the opposite. So we have plus 4. And then if you remember from 6th grade, the opposite of plus would be minus. So we're going to subtract 4 on both sides. So then your new inequality is 2 times x is greater or equal to 20. I don't want to know what 2x is. I only want to know what 1 positive x is. So if we're doing the inverse operations and it's 2 times x, well, the inverse would be divide. And whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So the 2 over 2, it just means 2 divided by 2, which equals 1. So we've got it down to 1x. And then half of 20 would be 10. So we want numbers that are greater or equal to 10. So I always suggest kids to write a 10 here. This is a closed circle. And the reason it's closed is because it has the equal sign right there. So this means it goes this way. Now we have to figure out what are all the possible answers. Well, can it be 9? Can it be 11? Yeah, it can be 11. Can it be 12? Is 12 greater than 10? Yes. Is 15 greater than 10? Yes. Is 9 greater than 10? Nope. 8 greater than 10? Nope. All the numbers are either 10 or greater. So if you notice, they're all going towards the right. So that's how it goes. And on star, you not only do you solve, but you have to graph it too. All right, let's do another problem. In this case, it's x, which is our unknown, is being divided by 7, take away 9, less than or equal to 15. So we'll still use our inverse operations. And so if we're doing opposite or inverse, the opposite of minus would be add. I'm going to add 9 to not one side, but both sides. So then my new inequality is x divided by 7 is less than or equal to 24. All right, so here's the part where kids usually kind of get stuck. So I'm going to show it 2 different ways. Well, the opposite of divide is multiply. So you would just multiply both sides by 7. But if you're like me, you want a visual, well, it's not there, but it kind of is. There's like a 1. So 1, 7. So we all know what a fraction bar 1, 7. So 1 out of 7 is going to be 24. All right, so we would shade in 1. And so 1 out of 7 is 24. However, because what you know about fraction bar, if the first one's 24, the second one's 24, and then we're just going to keep going. Each one is 24. So what we need to do is we want the total value of one whole, not 1, 7. So we know this is 48. I would add that. It's 48. 48. So now you got 48. 48. You got 96. Add another 48. This is not the only way. You could do whatever works for you as long as you figure it out. I mean, you just multiply 24 times 7. That works too. Now I need the 24. Add that. Okay, so if I wanted to double check myself, I would go 24 times 7. 4 times 7 is 28. Carry the 2. I don't even think we say carry anymore. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus 2 more is 168. Now, it's 168. We know it's closed circle. Now, because we're saying it's less than. Okay, so I want all the numbers that are smaller than 168. Was 170 smaller? Nope. Is 165 smaller? Yep. 145? Yep. 245? No. So we can just come up with all the examples. So once you start thinking about what it could be, 168, it can be 167, 166, anywhere below all the negative numbers, all the numbers in between. So we would graph it this direction. On the STAR test, this is usually like a 2-point. One is to get the answer right, and the second is to graph it. All right, thanks for sticking around. Let's do one last one. All right, now we cannot do any inverse operations yet. We first need to clear that parentheses. This means 6 groups of x plus 1. So if it's 6 groups of x plus 1, I just want to show you a visual of what it looks like. Now, how many x's are there? Well, there's 6. How many 1's are there? There's 6. Now, we typically don't do it that way. We just distribute. You know, there's nothing to simplify inside the parentheses, but we got to get rid of it. So this is really 6x, which I proved it here. There's 6x. And then here, there's 6 units. Okay, so this becomes plus 6, because 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times x is 6x. Now, there's nothing to do on the right. I'll bring it down. Okay, and now we solve it exactly the way we did before. We will use inverse operations. For kicks, I recommend pausing the video at this point and see if you can finish it. All right, let's see how we did. So you would subtract because that's the opposite. Now when you subtract, you're down to a 1-step equation. Now you'll divide because that means 6 times x. And the inverse is divide. We'll divide. 6 divided by 6 is 1. And then this is it 12? I guess I should work it out. Oh, I was right. All right, so we want every number bigger than 12, whether it's 1,000, a million, 12.1, 12.01, 13, all of those. And all of those numbers would be to the right because we get bigger as we move to the right. Now it's closed. I chose to use all closed only because that tends to be the one that kids, I don't know, it's just the ones they mess up the most on. I'm going to graph everything towards the right, and then I'm done. You want to check it, you go back, you plug it in, and it would work out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.